Shop simulator games are a dime a dozen these days, so developers are always looking for something unique to keep players interested. Goo.Deer, like others in the genre, have you selling various drinks and snacks to your customers, but now there's one special ingredient that forms the basis of everything that comes from your gas station. Yep, you've guessed it, it's deer meat. I mean, maybe you didn't. But from ice cream to these weird drinks, you'll be going out back, doing some hunting, then going underground and turning them into some delicious treats. Yeah, it's a very unusual take on the genre, but I'm here to give you an overview of what Goo.Deer is all about. The team behind it, VML Studios, were kind enough to sponsor this video. So if you're a fan of these kind of shop simulator titles, well then stay tuned, because Goo.Deer does get very, very weird. The title recently came out on the 22nd of June for PC, and according to the developers, Goo.Deer is this dark first-person gas station management game that's set in this foggy world that's been addicted to the strange drink called Goo.Deer. You'll need to craft and sell it, manage your inventory, hire employees, and then venture into this misty forest to hunt for deer that will be used for ingredients, as well as avoiding a dangerous creature lurking in the fog. When you first start, like with other shop management games, everything will be manual. It'll give you some Goo.Deer to start selling, and you'll have to stock your shelves and then wait for the customers to come rolling in. Now, I'm not sure what happened in this world, but everyone is just various neon colors that all look like they're part of a 90s energy drink commercial. Anyways, they will come in, find something they like, and either pay for it with cash or a credit card. Your first role is a cashier. The job is fairly simple. If it's a card, you'll type in the amount, and if it's cash, well, you'll need to hand over just the right amount. Luckily, you can eventually hire someone to do this role for you, because yeah, you've got many tasks to complete. However, you can't hire someone to like this video if you are finding it useful. That you still need to do manually. So very early on in the game, you'll unlock this secret door in your office that takes you down to the basement area, and if things looked weird at the moment, trust me, they're about to get a lot weirder. See, the drinks that you've been selling, this is where they come from. The process is simple, yet somewhat gross, I've got to say. First, you take a deer carcass, and I'll get to where those come from soon, and you need to cut them up. That's step one. The second is mincing that meat. From there, this part I truly don't really understand, the mince gets distilled, much like a alcohol of some kind. Then finally the bottling process comes in, and bam, out pops a 6-pack of fresh Goo.Deer ready to be placed on the shelves. Yeah, it's very twisted, but hey, that's what the customers want. But very soon that meat will run out, which leads me to the third part of the game, the hunting. Your store is open from 7 PM to 4 PM every single day, which means that during the morning and afternoon you'll have some free time to do some hunting for the stock, I guess. You will unlock another secret door in your basement, and this will then take you to the other side of your gas station. And this place is full of trees, water, mountains, and lots of deer. The game just gives you a rifle and says, okay, go ahead and just go take some on. Now, I'm no expert shooter, so the first few times were tough. I kept missing and they just laughed at me as I just ran around in the distance. The deer do spook very easily, like you cannot get too close, but eventually my aim improved. One mechanic the game does include is tracking. If you hit a deer, most of the times you won't kill it, and they might need an extra hit or two, but I'm guessing that depends on where you hit them on the body. Anyways, they'll take a hit and sprint off, but they will still slowly bleed to death, so you'll have to track their trails of blood and eventually you'll come to their body. To collect the carcass, you'll just need to hold down a button and bam, it's in your inventory. However, ammo is limited, so you need to be somewhat careful with how you aim, but luckily there is this hut at the back of this area where you can buy more supplies and better stuff, better gear like bear traps, stronger ammo, and a scope for better aim. Everything is quite expensive, so you'll need to plan it properly, else you will run out of money very quickly. Eventually the sun will start to go down and you will need to head back and start processing that meat. And that is pretty much the gameplay loop. During the day, you'll hunt for deer, you'll process them, and then at night when your store opens, you will then sell your products. Yes, quite a concept. Definitely one of the strangest games I've ever played. But yeah, one thing you'll notice is that there's not a lot of waiting around. At the top left, there is this green bar that represents basically the health of your gas station. If you aren't able to cater to people's needs, well, they'll get angry and that health will go down. Also, rioters will show up in the morning and start punching your store. Like, weapons would make more sense, but I guess fists are what's on the menu today. You can just punch them yourself and they'll just run off, they'll just scatter, and the game enters this boxing mode where this intense music starts playing. But luckily, the beginning, these hoodlums are very easy to take care of. Like with most store management games though, you'll want to be upgrading and hiring more employees as time goes on to help keep up with that demand. And well, if you can't and your store health reaches 0, well then it is game over and you'll get to see your score versus other players. I'd say that the progression in the game is also handled quite well. Machines can be upgraded so that their processing times improve or they start producing new ingredients. So in other words, more automation is available. Or you can buy more shelves or other furniture pieces to store your products in the shop. You can also hire more employees to handle your dirty work for you, like the cleaning, the restocking shelves, or even hiring a bouncer. I'm a sucker for this type of gameplay loop, and the game hooks you in by always keeping the next upgrade just a few $100 away. Also, during your playthrough, you'll keep getting these weird emails that, yeah, don't always make sense, but eventually I was making good profit and was able to spend more time producing products and automation, and business was booming, and I decided to buy myself an ice cream maker just to top it off. Now there is more to this game, but I didn't want to show any spoilers for what comes next. But overall, in my initial gameplay, I found myself enjoying Goo Deer. Is it weird and kind of creepy? Absolutely, but if you're a sucker for games that give you that slow release of dopamine, especially the shop management ones, you know how they go, where there's always just something to do, something to improve on. Whether you want to hire more employees or improve the shop in some way. And in this game, it was just me trying to make as much Goo Deer as humanly possible. Another part I enjoyed was the shooting elements. Most store management games focus on just the store management side of things, so this was kind of a unique twist on the genre. I think most people that struggle with shooting might struggle a bit with that part of the gameplay, but for people growing up with first-person shooters like Counter-Strike, I used to play a lot myself, I think they'll find themselves having a good time and just going out and trying to hunt down as much deer as possible. But at the same time, there is a lot of room for improvement. I do think that stuff like being able to increase the size of the store, adding in more products, more equipment in the back, more sounds so that the deer sounds, they sound more natural, and just more forest sounds overall will just increase that immersion, and that could go a long way. And of course, multiplayer. I would love to play this game with a friend and just have some shenanigans overall. But for those of you looking for a store management game that's definitely bringing something unique to the table, then maybe go give Goo Deer a try today. Once again, a big thanks to the team for sponsoring this video, and also a big shout out to my members for supporting my channel. You guys always mean so much to me. Other than that, it's Marco here from Easily Distracted Games, and as always, don't stop gaming.